What is going on with the Giannis trade drama? Let me explain, because in the last week, the entire thing quietly flipped. The team everyone assumed had the best offer just stepped back. The star at the center of that offer doesn't even want in. And a team nobody was talking about may now have the cleanest path to the best player available. So let's untangle it. Here's the plan. First, the offer that disappeared overnight. Then the quiet signal Milwaukee just sent about what they actually want. Then the dark horse that changes everything. And finally, the new pecking order, ranked by what each team can really put on the table. Every report here is attributed, the rankings and the cap math are my analysis. Let's start with the bombshell. This is Game is Culture. Quick thing before we dig in, if you like trade breakdowns that show the actual math instead of just yelling takes, subscribe, it's free and it genuinely helps. Now, the offer that vanished. The best offer just vanished. For weeks, the loudest framing was Boston. A package built around Jaylen Brown was supposedly the strongest bid for Giannis. Well, two reports just gutted that idea. Per Mark Spears, Jaylen Brown would not want to play for the Milwaukee Bucks. And per Gary Washburn, the Celtics are not all in and are not looking to trade him at all. So the so-called best offer was never really on the table. And think about why that matters so much. A trade like this needs 3 yeses. The team trading Giannis, the team getting him, and increasingly, the star being moved in the deal. Brown is owed a massive supermax, around $49 million a year. And a player on that contract has real say in where he lands. So when he says no and his team says no, that branch of the tree is just gone. Milwaukee just tipped its hand. Now here's the part that tells you where this is really headed. Per Jake Fisher, the Bucks are looking to offload Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis as part of any Giannis trade. That is not the move of a team trying to reload around the new star. That is the move of a team clearing the decks for a full rebuild. When you're shipping out your veterans alongside your franchise player, you're not retooling, you're tearing it down. And attaching those two isn't free. Together, Kuzma and Portis are worth roughly $35 million in salary. To get a team to absorb veterans they didn't ask for, you usually have to sweeten it, often with a draft pick. So every dollar Milwaukee dumps is a dollar and sometimes a pick that doesn't come back as future value. That's the hidden tax on a teardown. So read the two signals together. Milwaukee is dangling Giannis and trying to dump salary at the same time. That combination only points one direction, a reset, which means the Bucks aren't shopping for the flashiest star coming back. They're shopping for the most future value, young players and draft picks. And that completely changes which team should be at the front of the line. Enter the dark horse. Because while everyone argued about Miami and Boston, another name slipped in. On the Trailblazers, Ramona Shelburne said it plainly, and it makes a strange kind of sense. Portland is exactly the type of team that can win this. They have a stack of young players in draft capital, and crucially, they are nowhere near the second apron, so they can actually build a legal package. They aren't trying to win next week, they're trying to land a generational talent and grow into a contender. That's a perfect match for a rebuilding seller. So put the two real buyers side by side. Miami offers established talent, Tyler Hero and young pieces, but they're capped out and won't part with Bam Adebayo. Portland offers the thing Milwaukee actually wants in a teardown, draft capital and youth, with far more flexibility. For a team collecting the future, the quieter package may be the better one. Real quick, halfway home, if these are the breakdowns you want, every time the rumor mill spins, hit subscribe, it's free. Now, the domino almost nobody is connecting. The Tyler Hero domino. Here's a thread that ties it all together. Per Jake Fisher, the Detroit Pistons have interest in Tyler Hero. Now, why does that matter? Because Hero is the biggest salary Miami would send out in a Giannis deal. If a third team like Detroit is willing to take him on, suddenly Miami's package gets easier to build, and the money starts to fit. One role player can unlock the whole thing. Picture how that actually works. Giannis goes to Miami. Hero gets rerouted to Detroit, who wanted him anyway, and Milwaukee collects the young players and draft picks they're really after. A 3-team deal turns a salary problem into a solution. That is exactly the kind of creativity it takes to move a player who makes $54 million. The new pecking order. And in a teardown, the currency is draft picks. So look at the ammunition. Portland is loaded with future first-round picks. the most flexible chest in this race. Detroit has a healthy stash to dangle, and Miami, after years of all-in win-now moves, has the least left to give. When the seller is collecting the future, the team with the most picks starts at the front of the line, and that is not the Heat. So let me grade the field on what actually matters to a rebuilding seller. On one axis, how much future value a team can offer, picks and youth. On the other, how cleanly the salaries fit. Boston was the supposed leader, but they're off the board. Miami has the star power, but tight money. And Portland sits in the sweet spot, plenty to give and the room to give it. Add it all up, and the story has completely inverted. A week ago, this was Miami versus Boston. Now Boston's gone. Miami needs a third team just to make the money work, and Portland has quietly become the cleanest fit for what Milwaukee is actually selling. The favorite isn't the loudest name anymore. It's the team that matches the rebuild. But will Giannis allow it? Because here's the wrinkle that could blow up my whole ranking. Giannis is a former MVP and a champion, and by every account, he wants to win right now. Portland may have the best package, but they're a young, rebuilding team, not a finished contender. So even if Milwaukee prefers Portland's picks, Giannis' own preference could drag this back toward a win-now team like Miami. The seller wants future value. The star wants a ring. Those two goals do not always point at the same team, and that tension is the last domino. Now, where could I be wrong? Easily. Reporting changes by the hour, and a motivated contender can always jump back in with a knockout offer. Miami still has the most recognizable package, and stars have a way of forcing their preferred destination. So don't take this as a done deal. Take it as the board as it actually sits today, after a week that quietly rewrote it. So what do you think? Does Giannis end up in Miami, sneak off to Portland, or somewhere we haven't even mentioned? The board just flipped, and the draft is the deadline, so this moves fast. Tell me your pick below. And we are so close to 1,000 subs, so subscribe to stay up to date.